Hi, this is Owen Thornton, and this is my vblog, which corresponds with my web blog at ontariocrafts.wordpress.com. Remember, just below the level of the screen, there's a thumbs up button, and if you click on that, it shows that you like the video, and it helps people find me a little bit easier. Today I want to talk to you about something basic about my blogs. Why do I do it? There's a short answer and a longer one. The short answer is, I do it for you. I do it because when we have a good experience, I want to share those experiences with you so that hopefully you can duplicate that for yourselves and that you can have a wonderful time as well. Now, you can stop watching if you like the short answer. If you want the long answer, it's a little bit more philosophical than that. I remember watching a silly Christmas movie once, and the person said something very profound within that movie. We are all stardust. We are all part of the universe. While we are all relatively made from the same stuff, which makes us all the same, we are still unique within that expression of the universe. We are just the universe expressing itself. But if we are somewhat the same and still uniquely different, when I share a wonderful experience with my wife and we've gone someplace and we're really enjoying ourselves, and then suddenly we raise a glass and we have a taste of something we've never had before, we've never experienced before, and that it's so wonderful and it's so tasty, that locks that moment into our memories a little bit more. It's a sharing of one another through the glass that we're having. And you know what's interesting is that I can be drinking a red and Carrie can be drinking a white, and we still have that poignant moment where everything becomes more clear and our memories get locked into place for that experience. And so that glass at that winery or that glass at that brewery where Carrie is not having beer but something else, or that glass at a distillery that just is like, wow, we've experienced something, we've shared something together, makes the memory more poignant for us and allows us to remember the experience longer than otherwise. And so if I can share with you those experiences and you can have them as well, then you can have those moments of joy, those moments of aha, this is a wonderful thing we've done for ourselves. We are here having a great glass of wine or beer or spirit. Then I guess my job is really done. But I think it goes a little bit more than that. And I want to tell you the story of my friend Stan. So that's the long answer. If you want to hear the story, you can stop now. And you can, if you don't want to hear the story, you can stop now. And if you do want to, you can hear the story of my friend Stan. Stanley, when I moved in here 30 years ago, Stanley was my next door neighbor, and together we would find ourselves outside working on our vegetable gardens. He was a gloriously experienced gardener, and I'm a hack, was then, still am today, compared to Stanley anyways. And one day we got talking over the fence about our vegetable gardens, and he started talking to me about World War II and his experiences there. And he was D-Day plus 11 hours. He was a AAA gunner, but there wasn't any Luftwaffe, any German airplanes to shoot at. And so they used his trained experience to lob the flak shells through the slits in the bunkers on the beaches to take out the enemy at the end of the bunkers so that the soldiers didn't have to fight hand to hand all the way back into the bunkers, because that was a very dangerous task. Later, once his job there was done and there was no Luftwaffe to shoot at, they took him back to England, they trained him to be a soldier, and they sent him up the boot of Italy. So he was in both major campaigns of the war. This is all what he was telling me just outside. It was just a casual conversation. But what he told me about the war was that when they were still in France, and they would relieve some French citizens of German occupation, the French people would go down into their cellars and find their calvados. This is sort of like an apple brandy that they would have made from their own orchards. And they wouldn't share it with the occupiers, the Germans. But when the Canadian troops came by and freed them from occupation, they would go down into the cellars and get their Calvados and share that with the Canadian soldiers. And so every time he had a glass of Calvados, it reminded him, it took him back to those moments. So one day, Stanley comes over afterwards and he's bought me a bottle of Calvados. And he says, now you can share in this experience with me, Owen, and you can have some Calvados. So when I had the apple brandy, and trust me, I'm not a brandy drinker, I'm not a brandy lover. I like a lot of things, and I'm sort of shocked that I don't care for brandy all that much. But when I had this glass, I realized that I was a Canadian soldier, like Stanley, sitting in a half destroyed French home at the end of World War II, and that together, Stanley and I and those French people were sharing that glass of Calvados. I think that those experiences link us all together. And so, I guess from me to you, I'm trying to link together wonderful, memorable experiences through the stardust in all of us so that we can share some joy and have a wonderful taste experience through Ontario wineries, microbreweries, and distilleries. I'm Owen Thornton for OntarioCrafts.wordpress.com, and that's why I blog. Thanks very much. Have a great day.